Hey, everybody out there in YouTube land, Jake of the OneManBand is back again, and April Fool's has come and gone. That's right, April 1st. April Fool's Day, Rooster Teeth's anniversary, whatever you want to call it, it has come and gone, and yes, we've all had a lot of nice laughs. But something happened that day. Something came up that day that really caught my attention. Of course, what really came up the day afterwards, but it was inspired by something that happened on April Fool's Day. So let's get right to the chase. In case you didn't know, fellow RWBY YouTuber HeroHey made a YouTube video talking about how Summer Rose is actually Ruby Rose. It was a crackpot theory done by a person who goes by Snow Days on the RWBY Amino app. And essentially what this was, it was an April Fool's joke theory about how RWBY is actually a clone of Summer Rose. If you want more information about Snow Days' theory and how HeroHey comes at it, I suggest you go watch that video right now, link down below. I'll wait. I will wait. Show HeroHey some love, and hey, check out the RWBY Amino app if you want. I'll give you time. Alright, your time has passed. So, when I watched this video, I couldn't help but feel a little bit, well, I wouldn't say discouraged or mad, but curious. You see, because not only has Snow Days come up with this theory, but this is an idea that I've been sitting on for quite a while as well. Now, although this theory done by Snow Days and covered by HeroHey was at the end of the day told to be, oh, it's just a crack theory, an April Fool's joke, you know, it's just meant there to be crazy. Well, my friends, be careful what you theorize about. Because, my friends, I too have a theory, and it falls along the same ideals of Ruby Rose being a clone of Summer Rose. And as crazy as it may sound, there's some evidence that's kinda backing it up. Now, we already know that there's plenty of weird science going on in the world of Remnant. We have fully automated robots, we have dust being used in everyday life. We even have robots that not only have sentience, but can also generate aura. And they were working on a machine that can transfer pretty much someone else's soul into another host. If that ain't crazy science, I don't know what is. So the fact that cloning is not used in RWBY is actually kind of strange if you think about it. I'm surprised that there isn't confirmed cloning in RWBY. And I mean, why wouldn't there be? I mean, if you're gonna be messing with something and, you know, messing with genetics, and yeah, it may seem unethical and just terrible like that, but if you really come down to it, on the crazy you know, science spectrum, it's not the biggest thing. And with the scientific and technological advances that Atlas especially has, who's to say that cloning isn't a possibility? Although it may be done behind closed doors. And so, that's why I bring this theory up to you guys. That Summer Rose created a clone, or a clone was created of her that became Ruby Rose. Let's look at some other evidence. If we take a look at Ruby Rose and what little we have seen of Summer Rose, we have seen that they are extremely similar in physical stature. They have almost the exact same face, almost the exact same hair, exact same body type, although all the pictures we've seen of Summer Rose have been of her older, we can see that if RWBY was to grow into a fully fledged adult, she would look a lot like her mother. And not just like, you know, oh, you look like your mother, but freakishly a lot like her mother. Not only does she share the same physical build, but she also shares the same type of clothing and style, and most importantly, they both possess the silver-eyed trait. Now, we don't know exactly how genetics work in Remnant, and we don't even know if the silver-eyed trait is a dominant one. For all we know, it could be recessive. That's why they're so rare. So the fact that if Summer Rose were to have a child with someone, the possibility of them having silver eyes isn't confirmed. We do not know if silver eyes are a dominant trait. If they were, then whatever child would come from a silver-eyed warrior would have silver eyes. But we don't know. We don't know if it's a dominant trait. So, with silver-eyed warriors being the strongest adversary to go up against the Grimm and the malevolent forces that work with them, you would think that having as many silver-eyed warriors, you know, to occupy and live in Remnant, you would want as many as you can, so you would have the best soldiers to fight against this evil. So although my theory draws a lot of parallels to Snow Daze's, and please let it be known, I'm not copying Snow Daze's theory. I know a lot of you guys are going to be down in the comments, you're just copying their theory, but it's like, the thing is, like, the concept of, like, who came first, the chicken or the egg, this is kind of like it. All you can really do is take my word for it that I have been, like, sitting on this theory for a couple months, and who knows, maybe Snow Daze had too, and just released it on April Fool's as a joke. The only reason I'm releasing it now is because that theory was covered by Hirohei. So, anyway, back to the theory. So, the upper echelon of the Huntsmen, so I'm thinking Ozpin, Ironwood, people like that. They see Summer Rose, and they are like, okay, she's a silver-eyed warrior. There aren't really a lot of silver-eyed warriors left in the world. We need to capitalize on this. And so, I believe that what they did is they went to Summer and gave her the full rundown. Look, you're a silver-eyed warrior, you have this amazing power, and we need as many of you as there possibly can be. Is it, and the thing is, this is where my theory kind of splits with Snow Daze's. I don't think that there's anything really nefarious going on with, like, Ozpin and Ironwood. I think they openly asked her, is it okay if we run some tests, try to do some experiments to try to create new silver-eyed warriors? And I think, although Summer Rose was maybe reluctant at the beginning, the more she witnessed, like, the evil, maybe when she found out about the maidens, and maybe even about Salem, she finally sort of allowed herself to, you know, to take this in. But on one condition. Now, this condition is kind of a lot like how Jango Fett agreed to have himself cloned in Star Wars. His only catch was he wanted an unaltered clone for himself to raise as a son. And I think that is what happened with Summer Rose. She wanted an unaltered clone that she would conceive in her womb. Like, they would do the test, you know, get the egg, you know, like, fertilize the egg, and then it would be artificially inseminated back into Summer. That way she can carry the child inside of her and give birth naturally and stuff like that. So, I think that's why she did that. Like, she still gave up, like, blood, maybe egg samples and stuff like that so that scientists could work on it, but for the most part, what she knew, they were just working on stuff, and her child would be the only true clone out of this experiment. And so, pretty much what happened, she probably, you know, was comforting Tai Yang with his loss of Raven. Maybe she was, you know, dating Crow. And this is, you know, this kind of falls in the whole, like, who is, you know, Ruby's dad, you know? At this point, in this theory, it could really be any of them. She could have just said, oh yes, it's your daughter, Tai, because, you know, all this stuff happened. And, like, she physically was pregnant. She physically carried Ruby inside her womb and gave birth, And that way it wasn't like one day she just came home and was like, I have a baby, I have a child, you know? Because if it was, then like, I think Tai Yang and Crow would be like, well, wait a minute, that's not how nature works. But I do believe that at least at some point Crow was brought in to like the fold. Like he kind of, since he was Ozpin's really like second and his best agent, like he was brought in and like learned about it. And so he was like, okay, you know, it's kind of weird and terrible that you're doing this, you know, with genetics and like human beings, but he still believed in Ozpin's cause. And so he decided that he'd do his best to, you know, watch over the child and watch over Summer. And I don't think Tai Yang would have learned about this until much later on, and he would probably be told by Crow after Summer Rose was killed. And you see, that's what happens. It's like, as the scientists are working with her, you know, with blood samples, egg samples, seeing if they can, you know, make clones artificially, like in tubes without needing human hosts to gestate the children, Ruby Rose was born an exact clone of her mother, an exact genetic clone of her mother. Please remember that. By what I mean by clone is that they are a exact genetic match. There may be some traits that are different, like, oh, Ruby has darker hair, or she's shorter, or stuff like that, but she is an exact genetic duplicate, although maybe not all the genetics line up perfectly, but it's still all the same genetics. And so Ruby Rose was meant to be raised, you know, as an actual daughter of Summer Rose to become the sort of another silver-eyed warrior who would fight against evil. But unfortunately, Summer Rose you know, died or went missing on a mission and never came back. And so that's why Crow kind of stepped in, because he knew what Ruby truly was. He knew that she was a clone, and an exact clone of Summer Rose, and so she needed to be tutored, she needed to be looked after, because as of right now, as far as he knows, she is the last silver-eyed warrior left, and that's why Crow had such an impact on Ruby's life. And it wasn't until years later that Tai Yang learned about what Ruby truly was. And you see, pretty much everything in Ruby's life goes on normal, blah, 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 it all goes on until she tries to apprehend Roman Torchwick. She's brought in by Glenda Goodwitch, and she meets Ozpin for the first time. Remember what Ozpin's, like, first statement towards Ruby was, his first question. He said, "You have silver eyes." And I think that itself was a test. That was a test to see if Ruby knew what she truly was. If Summer Rose was still around, if Summer Rose had told her, hey, you're a silver-eyed warrior, you're my clone, you're stuff like that, I think Ruby would have, you know, actually said something like, yeah, I'm a silver-eyed warrior, I can do this stuff, I'm a clone of my mother. She would have said that, but instead she was just confused and just like, what, you know? And so, as soon as Ozpin saw that she didn't know, he changed tactics and was like, okay, now I need to watch over this new silver-eyed warrior. I have to bring her into my school and help train her to become the best soldier against the evil as she can be. And the thing is, as crazy as this theory is, it does hold a lot of merit. I mean, although it's borderline bonkers, like I said, that, oh, she's a clone, and that's kind of a cop-out, and, you know, it's a crazy answer, but the fact remains that she is almost exactly like her mother physically. Why Crow has why she's so important, not only because she's a silver-eyed warrior, because she is a clone of the previous silver-eyed warrior that was known, and they're just things in the show that just kind of lean toward this idea with the whole, like, debacle of, you know, the questionable origins of who her father is. As much as people shout and defend one arena of who Ruby's father is, there's still a lot of mystery behind it. And I think if Ruby was actually a clone of her mother, we could just shut up this argument of who Ruby's dad is and just be all like, you know what? Neither of them are, because she's a clone. But I don't know. That's just hopeful thinking on you know, some people's parts. But I mean, the aspect of RWBY being a clone of her mother not only brings in a lot of weird science, but it also brings in, like, whoa, like, these people knew what RWBY was the whole time. What if there's other clones of RWBY, like, in a lab somewhere? That would lead into, like, really cool stuff, and it might make for some cool fanfiction ideas. So the whole idea of RWBY being a clone of Summer Rose, it's a crazy one, but so crazy that it just might hold a grain of truth. But hey, those are just my thoughts, and the real question is, what do you guys think? Hey everybody, I hope you enjoyed this video. It was a little clustered, I know that, but mostly I just jumped into this video without really a script or notes. I just really wanted to make it. So hey, go check out Hero Hayes' channel on here on YouTube. Also check out the RWBY Amino app. Check out Snow Days. I mean, they made the pretty much theory that dawned this video, so I mean, hey, why not? Check out the app, see what other theories are on there, and if you liked this video, be sure to like and favorite if you did. Subscribe, of course, if you feel inclined to. Check out links down below taking you to other videos of mine, and also links to social media like Twitter and my Patreon page. If you want to support me on Patreon, that'd be much appreciated. It'd help me get out more videos like this out to you guys. And until next time, my friends, I want you to be a good person, tip your waitresses, keep moving forward, and I'll see you guys next time I'm out there in YouTube land. I'll see you then. Yeah!